Hola, buenos días. Warm greetings from our online church campus. Mi nombre es Karen Ponetz y sirvo con gratitud como directora del aprendizaje de por vida. Mi pronombre es ella. My name is Karen Polnitz and I serve with joyful gratitude as Director of Lifelong Learning. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to all who are on our online church campus. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Welcome to everyone joining the service later on Facebook or YouTube. We are one congregation in many places. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. We honor the indigenous people on whose land our Alluvial Avenue campus sits. As part of this recognition, we encourage you to learn more about the history of the Yokuts people, who are the past, present, and future stewards of this land. Our worship theme this month is the gift of welcome. Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Teresa I. Soto, writes, "What you can do is be a welcome in a wounded and suspicious world. You can recognize the person as who they are." That's why we welcome each other, no matter our spiritual background or religious beliefs, no matter our race or culture of origin. We are welcome here, no matter our age, our size, the color of our eyes, our hair, or our skin. No matter how we came here, if we came alone or with others, we are welcome here. Our neurodiversity is welcome here. We are welcome no matter our disabilities, level of formal education, or amount of money in our bank account. Those of us who are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, gender expansive, or questioning are welcome here. Our welcome extends to all those with or without documentation, con papeles o sin papeles. All are welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus and want your joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude included in today's service, just text it to us at 559-209-4977. You can also type it into the chat box. Please do that right now so we have time to gather them and share in a few minutes from now. Be sure to text your name as well so we know who you are. Now, in our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary, in the chat box, or in the silence of our hearts, let's take a moment to say buenos dias and greet one another.
Good morning. My name is Tim and my pronouns are he, him. Today is really kind of historic. It's the first time since March 2020 the UUCF choir is singing. And allow the sound of the tink shop to take you to that quiet place within that waits with anticipation.
Good morning. Buenos dias. I'm Laura Radnoff, and my pronouns are she, her. I serve gratefully as your treasurer on the Board of Trustees. In that role, and on your behalf, I monitor the financial health and stability of our congregation. If you are on our online campus and have a candle or chalice, we'll be together kindling their flames in a few moments. Our chalice lighting words are by the Reverend Sherry Woodbury, who serves as minister of the First Unitarian Church of Omaha, Nebraska. Our chalice is a beacon offering the gift of welcome to all who gather here. Welcome, who come in friendship, who long for genuine community. May you be graciously received here as your authentic self. Welcome, who come in curiosity, full of questions, or simply open. May you embrace wonder and encounter new delights. Welcome, who come heavy with fatigue, weary from the troubles of the world or the troubles of your particular life. May you rest and be filled in this sacred space. Welcome, who come with joy for flowing rivers and gentle breeze, for changing skies and great trees. May the grace of the world leave a lasting imprint in you. Welcome, who come with thanks for the blessings of the earth and the gift of human care. May your grateful heart overflow and bless those around you. Let us light our chalice flame as we celebrate together this wondrous life. Let us rise now in body or spirit and join in singing the song of praise. Love will guide us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us. We'll lead the way on the road from creed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, for thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. You are like no other being. What you can give, no other can give to the future of our precious children, to the future of the world where we live. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from creed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Please remain standing as we say together the words of our church covenant. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es su oración. Habitar juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y servir a la humanidad juntos, con el fin de que todas las almas puedan crecer en armonía con lo divino. Esto es lo que pactamos unos con otros. We affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. We strive to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Please be seated. I invite us to just take in a breath, breathing in and breathing out. And this time as we breathe in, let's just imagine we're breathing in peace. And we breathe out love. Again, we breathe in peace. We transform it into love. We breathe out love. We truly have been given a gift to have been able to live through the last week. So let that breath just carry you back over that week, perhaps remembering highlights, possibly lowlights. And a question. In the last week, did anything remind you that you are not alone? We are not alone as we gather in this sacred space, and we make room for all of our being. We don't want you to leave anything at the door. Bring your whole self in, and that means your joys, your sorrows, your gratitudes, and your concerns. Today, this is some of what is alive among us. Some of us filled out a small card at the entranceway to the church. Others texted or put in the chat box. Jessica M., so grateful to be able to be part of the service from afar. Thank you all for making this possible. Much love and blessings, Jessica. Ida J. is feeling joyful for 2 new rescue kittens joining the household. Yep. Laura G. is feeling joyful, the beautiful community garden at the Alluvial Avenue that welcomes everybody to the campus with colorful flowers and food, and it creates community and connects us to the seasons. And this is just remarkable. Saul Eskin writes, on September 26, I will be 94 years old. Saul, could you stand and we're going to sing happy birthday. Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Saul. Happy birthday to you. And we have some concerns. Gina Marie B. is feeling very discombobulated at work. Betty P., her friend and photo mentor, passed into the mysteries Friday of ALS, out of this life now, but my heart is with the people of Morocco. Out of the news now, but your heart with Morocco. And dear ones, I have what for some of us will be an unexpected sorrow. Yesterday began with great joy in this sanctuary as we celebrated the wedding of Jackie Newman and David Klein. I'm sorry to say David passed away in his sleep last night. And so let's just hold a moment for David his memory and also his family, and of course for Jackie at this terrible ordeal she faces. We remember too those who are unable to be here physically. We remember Joanna B., who is now in the gentle embrace of hospice care, Margaret H., Bev F., Glenda R., Pat M., Babs E. We also want to mark that today ends Climate Week NYC, the 15th year as the biggest global climate event of its kind, bringing together the most influential leaders in climate action from business, government, and the climate community in conjunction with the United Nations General Assembly. We also celebrate Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month, and we mark that tonight is the first night of Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, and that Tuesday is Islam's celebration of Mawlid al-Nabi, the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And so for all that has been shared, for all that we hold in the silence of our beautiful beating hearts, we light our candle of community. Remembering that the gift of life is fragile, let us sing Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, roots hold me close, wings set me free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón, cántale tu compasión, sopla al orar, sube la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraígame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Our words of prayer and reflection come from the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, Senior Minister at Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. And the words that Reverend Takahashi has written includes the word prayer. And I just want to acknowledge for some of us that word makes us uncomfortable. So I invite you to translate that as you wish, to reflection, to hope. Let us join together. This is a prayer for when words fail, for when they are not big enough or small enough to slip into the little cracks left in our hearts by life's unbearable pressures. This is a prayer for when the biggest noun cannot know the enormity of joy, or when the most active verb is paralyzed in the face of grief unuttered, horror undescribed, or loss beyond accounting. This is a prayer for all who have known the large void of hope, which is trauma. It's a prayer for wounded hearts and bodies, for those whom we ought to always remember and sometimes choose to forget. This is a prayer for those times when words fail and all that is left is the yes and the no of it all, and our ability to let the chord of the breath lead us from this moment to the next. This is a prayer for all who have been lost, that in our memory they may be found. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Our short reading comes from the Reverend Teresa I. Soto, a Unitarian Universalist person of color who uses a wheelchair and identifies with they, them pronouns. Neither divisor nor dividend. People are not long division problems. Their resources almost never divide evenly into their concerns, which is how we end up with remainders of fear and anger, and such tentative beauty, having only recently been liberated from the impositions of thousands of inapplicable shames. People do not imagine being messy and unresolved until their broken hearts remain unmentionable. People are not long division problems. You cannot, should you, meaning well, try this, fix or solve them. Reminder, they will almost never come out even. What you can do is be a welcome in a wounded and suspicious world. You can recognize the person as who they are. You can assume that without the gift of their humanity, even when it is complicated, none of the sum of us can arrive at the answer of who we are meant to be, collective and whole.
I invite us to rise in body or spirit. We'll be doing the round, building bridges.
All right, so we're going to do this just as a two-part round. I'll be leading this side, and Doug will be leading that side. Doug and I will sing it together in unison once, invite all of you to join in and sing it in unison with us. And then we'll break into two parts. I'll lead the first part. And we'll do it 3.5 times, and then we'll be done. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Everybody together. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our revisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all our visions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all of our visions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all our divisions, I reach out to me, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
I invite us to sit down. So I'd like to just give a little advance warning that this sermon does contain images of violence, and so take care of your precious and gentle heart. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all our voices and all our vision, friends, we can make such sweet harmony. His mother was an Israeli peace activist. His father was a Palestinian pacifist. He was born into two heritages, two cultures, and one deadly conflict. In a land at war, in a place where Israelis and Arabs live amidst shattered dreams, his mixed blood bridged two peoples who have learned to hate each other. Part Israeli, part Palestinian, he was born a go-between person. Someone who's willing, someone who's able to bridge the line in the sand, to step into the bloody breach, to hold two differing realities and try to shape them into something hopeful and new. His name was Giuliano Mercamis. He was a peace activist. He was an Israeli citizen. He lived in a Palestinian refugee camp. He was an acclaimed Israeli actor. He was the director of a world-famous Palestinian youth theater devoted to equality of all people. He defined himself as 100% Palestinian and 100% Israeli. This world needs go-between people. Those people who work to create a time when compassion is wedded to power, a time when peace and understanding will come to a world that, for so many, is harsh and unjust. There have been many go-between people through the ages. I think of Mahatma Gandhi, waking up the power of the Indian people through the practice of non-violent resistance. Gandhi's initial satyagraha, or peaceful resistance, united Muslims and Hindus across class and religious divides. But his closest ally in his early years of peaceful resistance against the British oppression was a Muslim, Muhammad Ali Johar, a key figure in the transnational Islamic movement. Although Hindu and Muslim unity in India later turned bloody, Gandhi's work as a go-between person between Hindus and Muslims helped people of India throw off the British occupation. Gandhi never stopped being a go-between person. According to Sugata Bose, a professor of history, Gandhi's final crusade was designed to pressure the government of independent India to treat its own Muslim citizens with dignity and honor. Professor Bose says, Gandhi had long had a premonition that he would be killed by an assassin's bullet. When that moment finally came, it was a fellow Hindu who pulled the trigger, believing Gandhi to be too pro-Muslim. Like Gandhi, Giuliano believed in the power of non-violent resistance to force social transformation. According to his friend, Mazen Kisea, Giuliano embodied the compassion and caring of Arna, his Israeli Jewish mother, and the gentle love of land and people of Saliba, his Palestinian father. Journalist Adam Schatz called Giuliani a walking advertisement for solidarity and coexistence. And, like most of us, Giuliano was also an imperfect person with shadows and paradoxes. He was born in May of 1958 in the city of Nazareth in Israel. As an online article by Anthony Alessandrini notes, in interviews, Giuliani would tell a story that marked with what he called racial lunacy into which he was born. His pregnant mother, who was Jewish and Israeli, was taking part in a protest against the imposition of martial law on Palestinian villages in Israel. She went into labor. She was rushed to the hospital, but the Israeli doctors refused to stitch her, and she nearly bled to death. They knew she was married to an Arab. Giuliano was raised in a home shadowed in paradox and contradiction. In public, his father was a Palestinian pacifist. At home, he beat his children, including Giuliano. As he got a little older, like most Israeli youth, after high school, Meir Kamis served in the Israeli Defense Forces. But in 1978, while stationed in the town of Jenin in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, he refused an order to forcibly remove an elderly Palestinian man from a car and ended up getting into a fight with his commanding officer. He was imprisoned for a few weeks. After leaving the army, Meir Kamis became an acclaimed stage and film actor in Israel. In movies, he played both Palestinians and Israelis, giving voice to both sides of the conflict. Meanwhile, in the 1980s, Meir Kamis' mother, Arna Meir, opened a youth theater in the Jenin refugee camp in the West Bank. Her work introducing the arts to over 1,500 Palestinian children made her famous in Palestine. Arna died in 1995. 5 years later, in 2000, during the Second Intifada, or uprising against the occupation, Meir Kamis went back to Palestine to the Jenin refugee camp to film a documentary. It featured the children that his mother had worked with in the theater, many of whom had grown up to become Palestinian freedom fighters who were killed in the armed resistance against the Israeli army. One died as a suicide bomber, killing Israeli civilians. He said, "How can we offer our Palestinian children an alternative?" Meir Kamis wondered. After the debut of his film in 2004, he returned to the site of his mother's earlier work with the young people. He found there his true calling, his passion. He devoted himself to the youth and the young adults of the Jenin refugee camp. He resurrected his mom's theater project and opened the Freedom Theater, teaching kids to act, dance, and express themselves peacefully. Meir Kamis described his mission and his vision, and he burned with this mission and his vision. He said, quote, "The Freedom Theater aims to use creativity as a model for social change. It provides opportunities for the children and youth of the Jenin refugee camp to develop the skills, self-knowledge, and confidence which will empower them to challenge present realities and take control peacefully of their future. He continued, during 2002 and onwards, Jenin refugee camp was brutalized by the Israeli army. Many hundreds of people died and thousands were arrested. This area, he says, is still under tight Israeli military control, which means that all aspects of daily life are affected, just like in the rest of the Palestinian territories. Each and every one of our students who come to the theater bears the marks of bullet wounds, beatings, or psychological traumas. Most of the young people under the age of 15 suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. Most cannot deal with each other without violence, for this is the language of the occupying power. In an effort to change this situation, we decided to open the Freedom Theater. People came to help from all around the world, people with different backgrounds, faiths, and political views, to join the children of Jenin in their struggle against occupation and oppression, for their right to childhood and freedom. End of quote. For him, this struggle had to be a peaceful one. His theater was a place where young Palestinians could embody creativity rather than violence. He gave the youth and young adults of the Jenin refugee camp an outlet for their rage and surging emotion, so the youth of the camp would not turn to armed struggle. They became part of this fledgling grassroots movement of nonviolence in the occupied territories. But like his father, Mir Khamis was living within a contradiction. He was publicly committed and working to and for nonviolence. But when away from the refugee camp, he sometimes picked fights in the city and had violent outbursts when working as a professional stage actor in the city. Contradictions. Also, he had to successfully work in the refugee camp that was controlled by militant militia. He had to build alliances with the very fighters who used deadly violence against the Israeli occupation, including some on Israel's most wanted terrorist list, working together with the theater. But Mir Khamis did not mince words about the Israeli occupation. He said, in the context of Jenin, the work of the Freedom Theater is all the more important since the Israeli occupation aims to destroy the Palestinian culture and sense of identity. Prior to the establishment of the Freedom Theater, few residents in the Jenin area had participated in performing arts activities. One of the aims, he says, of the Israeli occupation is the total destruction of the cultural and artistic life among the Palestinian people. During the last 7 years of the Palestinian uprising, Israel succeeded, he says, in destroying facilities, libraries, computers, preventing people from carrying out any cultural activity. Cities were disconnected from each other. Cultural centers could not communicate. The switch of light and life of the Palestinians was turned off. Mir Khamis continued, during these circumstances, we have to create an environment that can inspire the oppressed imagination and personality, to plant seeds of creativity and imagination, which normally every child in the world has grown up with. Watching YouTube videos of his theater productions with teenagers, I'm staggered, not just by the professional nature of the plays, but by their fierce revolutionary force. They're contemporary, pulsing with rawness, music, and urgent stagecraft. These are young adults who could be killing and instead are creating. Mir Khamis believed the next intifada, the next Palestinian uprising against the Israeli occupation, would be a cultural one, with poetry, music, theater, cameras, and magazines as the weapons of choice. His work came under increasing criticism by conservative Palestinians in the camp and beyond in the West Bank. For some, he was considered a threat to the traditional way of life. Adam Schatz notes that Giuliano spoke out bluntly about the stifling effects of patriarchy, gender oppression, and religious dogma. He argued that freedom began with the individual, and that without individual liberation, freedom from the occupation would mean nothing. This did not endear him to the defenders of tradition. According to the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, the theater itself was torched twice, and threats against him persisted. Some of the criticism focused on the fact that the theater offered co-ed activities despite prohibition in the Islamic moral code. Objectors were also outraged when Mir Khamis staged George Orwell's Animal Farm, in which young actors played the part of pigs, which Islam considered an impure animal. To some, Mir Khamis seemed to relish being outrageously provocative in dangerous, perhaps even self-destructive ways. He even went so far as to begin rehearsals for a production of Spring Awakening, a sexually explicit play about teenagers that has been controversial worldwide. Another thing that counted against him was the fact that Mir Khamis was an Israeli citizen working in Jenin with the Palestinians. And some of those Palestinians began to wonder if he was actually working undercover for Israel. Adam Schatz writes, "Fighters were putting down their weapons to become actors. Some thought it was all part of an Israeli plan to weaken the armed resistance." And so, Mir Khamis moved closer to the fate that comes to many who challenged power structures and push boundaries. Adam Schatz recounts. On the afternoon of Monday, April 4th, 2011, Giuliano Mir Khamis walked out of his Freedom Theater and got into his old red car. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun was hot, and the street all around the car was crowded. He put his baby son, Jay, on his lap, placing the boy's fingers on the steering wheel. A man suddenly came out of an alleyway. The Palestinian gunman shot Giuliano 5 times. The baby boy survived. Giuliano did not. An ambulance carried his lifeless body to an Israeli checkpoint so it could be transferred into Israel, the place where he had been born. He was 53 years old. Michael Handeschaltz, an Israeli and senior editor for the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, described Giuliano Mir Khamis as a great actor, an extraordinary human being whose life story is part of the tragic reality of the country. Israeli film director Amos Gattai said, "There are people like Giuliano who are radical people who try with their bodies to serve as a bridge over the gorges of hate. Our world needs go-between people, those who are willing and able to bridge the line in the sand, to step into the bloody breach, to hold two different realities and try to shape them into something hopeful and new. I wonder, in our own way, in some way, do we have the courage and the heart and the imagination to become one of the go-between people? Perhaps not by striding into international conflicts. But aren't there war zones in our own lives? Divisions in our families, among our friends, in our city, in our neighborhoods, and certainly in our schools and in the accelerating climate crisis. As individuals and as a Unitarian Universalist people of faith, how and where are we being asked to have the courage and the heart and the imagination to become go-between people? Building bridges between divisions with all of our voices and all of our vision. Friends, we can make such sweet harmony. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so, blessed be. Amen.
See the turtle on the sand, see the rainbow in the sky, see the apple on the tree, see the people passing by, see another day beginning, see another story end. Now the pretty bird is singing, may you always be my friend. Oh, yum, yum,
That song, the peace song, was written by my dear friends Lynn Jackson and the late Mike Halter. It has been sung around the world at major and small events promoting peace. We would not be if it was not for all of us rolling up our shirts and doing the work. That work looks different for each of us. For some of us, just showing up here on a Sunday is work. It's hard. And you're just going to take in all the love and energy. Others of us are ushering or greeting people at the door. Many of us make a yearly pledge of financial support. That is what allows us to build the budget and keeps us going. But each Sunday, we do hold a special offering just to remind each other that for those of us who are able, and it's not everyone, sometimes it's nice to give a little extra. In that spirit, let's join in our words for the call for offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? There's a slide on the many ways that you can give. We appreciate that. Also, the ushers will have baskets on the way out where you can drop cash or checks or your credit card.
Hello again. I am still Laura Radenoff. Thank you for being here this morning in this place of memory and hope. As this new week unfolds, may we remain mindful of the everyday choices we make regarding our words, actions, thoughts, and attitude. These can either contribute to division and conflict, or build bridges between divisions and bring a bit more harmony into our broken and beautiful world. Let's join Karen and Troy in our chalice extinguishing words.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Tim, we await with bated breath for today's reminders.
Before the reminders, though, we have an appreciation. Since coming back to our Alluvial Avenue campus after the worst of the pandemic, Leslie has been our guest pianist and sometimes vocalist, an extraordinary talent and just an all-around delightful, wonderful human being. Leslie, would you just stand and let us appreciate you? We hope you take this love with you as you go on the next step of your journey. If you are new or newish and wondering how to get connected, you want to meet Cecily Callahan, our coordinator of community life, here live and in person. Outside today, first are many things. First, it will be coffee hour. Then there is also a question and answer table with a board member. So not just Cecily, but a board member will be there. Most important, it is our annual Get Involved Fair. Representatives of many of our teams and committees are set up outside in the courtyard. They'd like to meet you. There are some exciting things happening, everything from the brand new ministry to animals, to our social justice team and beyond. Lots of different opportunities. And they're going to have a passport. And if you get, is it 4 stamps? If you go to 4 tables and 4 initials, then you'll be entered into a raffle for $50 gift certificates to Trader Joe's. Now, I have been reminding us that at some time very soon, we will be having a fire drill. It will be very soon, but not today, but very soon. If that horrible sound goes off, what we're going to do is exit this way through the doors, through the courtyard, and out past the community garden and to a safe place. Parents, your kids will be taken separate from that to a safe place. We're asking the parents not to try to get the kids because we've got them tucked away and they will be safe and sound. For those of us who have mobility issues, we're going to ask you exit out the front doors and then you'll be led over by our office building. So this will be happening very soon, like October 1st. Did you hear something? I didn't. So coming up this Saturday at 5:30 to 7:30 is our multicultural potluck. We invite you to bring a dish either from your cultural heritage or just a dish that you like making and we would enjoy eating. Bring this with you and we will have friendship and fellowship here in the sanctuary. That's this Saturday, 5:30 to 7:30. Beginning next month, after the fire drill, will be Chalice Circles, a vital program that's open to all from our online campus. Once again, Karen to tell us about Chalice Circles.
Whether you're seeking spiritually deepening discussions, wanting to learn more about Unitarian Universalism, or just looking for connection in community, Chalice Circles have a place for you. Sign up now via the link available at our brochure in the breezeway, or send Karen an email at dll@uufresno.org. We hope to circle up with you soon.
Thank you. I like that. Circle up with you. Last but not least, we have a tradition. We like to welcome folks who are here for the first, second, or third time. We do it not to embarrass you, but we're really glad that you chose to be with us this morning. So if this is your first, second, or third time, would you stand for a moment? We won't leave you standing alone for long. Anybody first? Yay! Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them and either join hands or hand over your heart for our spoken words and then our sung benediction. Building bridges between our division. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our vision, friends, we can create such sweet harmony. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Shalom and assalamu alaikum.